Welcome back. This is Urdizzle with a little daily tournament action for the tournament ending on, what is today, July 10th. And I thought I'd start things off by going over my bag, which has changed a little bit. I know I haven't been putting out as much content regularly the last few months. I haven't really been playing as much, but my bag has changed a little bit, enough that I should probably go over it and show you guys some of the changes I've made. A lot of the changes are just superficial, color, stamp, all that stuff. So I'll start off the top row. There is some other disc changes compared to last time I put my bag out there. So the top row, I've got my two putters, my Accurate Sticky Keystone, which I use for forehand throw-ins inside about 140, 150. The Accurate Glide Pure, which I also use for forehands up to about 170, but that's probably the least used disc you'll see in there. Then, of course, my two fuses, the Accurate Wind and the Accurate Glide. The Accurate Wind, you'll notice, is the new skull stamp for, I believe it's 1 star on the new course, Lost Island. Maybe 2 stars, I don't know. It's one of the rewards for that. And then the Accurate Glide. And then the middle row, small changes. I'm no longer bagging the Accurate Wind River. I really like that disc, but I've been able to kind of find other discs to fill that role. Not as well, but the addition you'll see in the bottom row has more than made up for that. So we've got the Accurate Roll Explorer, which I absolutely love. That's great ace run disc. And then, of course, the two muskets, which I don't think those will ever leave my bag, the Accurate Wind and the Accurate Glide. And then, of course, the Wind Glide Recoil, which has been a staple in my bag long before a lot of people threw that one. Finally ending with the bottom row. This is where things kind of change a little bit. I think 3 of the discs are pretty standard for a lot of people. Again, I feel like I was using those long before a lot of people did, but they've become pretty standard nowadays. But I'll actually start with the new edition, which a lot of people don't throw, and that is the Skip Wind Recoil. I don't want to say there was a hole in my bag, but there were a lot of holes where I felt like I was forcing other discs into roles that they really shouldn't have been used for. And I found that disc makes many holes much easier. You'll actually see it during this daily tournament. There's 2, maybe 3 holes that I use it on where it just makes the holes so much easier. So you'll see that one in action. Followed by the 3 Ballista Pros, the Glide Roll, the Light Glide, and the Grail, the new one from the shop today, the Skip Glide. And that is my current bag as of July 10th, 2021. So we'll see how that works for today's daily. And interestingly enough, this is actually my first run through it. I actually wasn't going to play this, but I saw a post by Greg Gerthy. I think he asked for an updated bag. And so I decided to swap over to this account and take a picture, a screenshot of the current disc I'm throwing. And so that's when I actually went into the shop and bought that new Glide Skip Ballista Pro. That's pretty. I like it. So we'll see how these work out. Hole 1, starting off a little Coyote Canyon, and I think anybody that's played that hole knows it is possible to get too close to that, but I was able to kind of kick off there with my Glide Skip Ballista Pro forehand, and it skipped off there and luckily gave me a pretty easy putt up top. And this one here, hole 9 from Coyote Canyon, I kind of like using the skip turn or the glide turn Ballista Pro for this particular hole, but not enough. There's a couple holes where I like those 2 discs. So the turn skip and the turn glide, just not enough to put those in the bag. So this hole tends to give me some issues, but not a lot. So I've just learned to kind of force the glide skip Ballista Pro over and just kind of kick it through the middle. And it usually gives me a pretty good look at birdie. Not really too many eagles on that one. I mean, I've eagled it before. It's not one of those you really grind for. Then this guy. So again, I had no intention of playing this daily until I popped over and took a screenshot of my bag. So this is the only time I ran through this, and that was just an awful drive. And I somehow clipped that, hit the tree, and landed here 150, it was 153 feet out. So I kind of laughed at that one, thinking, God, how in the world did that land on there? And so then I went to my patented forehand fuse, and I was able to nail that. I did not deserve that eagle, but we will most definitely take it. All right, we switch over to Oak Hill 4-hole 4, and this is another one where I kind of like the turn skip Ballista Pro, but I don't have it in the bag, and being the first time through, I have no idea what holes these are going to be, so I didn't really streamline my bag or try to swap any out. I mean, this is the first run, so it kind of is what it is, and we managed. And this one here, I love the glide wind recoil. I figured out on this hole with the left to right, you really got to play this further to the left of that rock and just let it swing down. Usually I'll clip up on top right there, but that one somehow managed to slide all the way down, and that was a phenomenal shot. And we will most definitely take that most of the time with a left to right wind of 3. I'll kind of let that one leak a little too far out to the right and leave myself a throw-in, which is not ideal. And then this one, I believe, is hole 5. Again, I'm a little out of touch. Forgive me if my hole numbers are wrong. So Oak Hill number 5. I've kind of transitioned over to the glide roll Ballista Pro for this one. I've had better results. It's more consistent. I used to use the light glide Ballista Pro, and there were just times where the disc would just go way, 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 way too far. So I really don't have that issue when I'm throwing the glide roll because it just grabs that ground like Velcro. All right, so here's a good hole where I use the the skip wind recoil. And this one actually leaked a little bit too far because of the wind. But this is one of the holes where I usually have pretty good luck with that particular disc. I really like it. It just seems to work real well. I don't have to power down on a Ballista Pro. I don't have to force a musket further than it should be. It just works really well. Second hole in a row here. Again, we're at Kaho Backwoods. And this is another one where I love the windbreak. The windbreak is, I almost want to say it's my favorite attribute. I know a lot of people will say accurate, and I would agree with that, but the windbreak it's the second best attribute after accurate. I mean, accurate is obviously the one you want for everything from musket down, but windbreak it minimizes the variability of your throws just for consistency, especially when you compare that together with the accurate modifier. So it's nice to pair those together. All right, and then hole 9, we end up with this little wind right to left, which is not ideal. I throw the glide roll. And again, right here, normally I would throw one of my big boy drivers, the Ballista Pros, but there's that wind skip again. It's just the perfect distance, just over 400, pops me right up there. And so I use it on the last 3 holes. And yes, I know there are other discs you could use for the throws I did there, but I found I have more consistency when I use that disc. So there you guys go. That was my only run through, 15 under, and that ended up tying for the lead. Who knows if that's going to hold, but nothing's impossible, but I just don't see anyone grinding for a 16 under. That would be a pretty annoying score to get there. So there you go. Got my coins. I forget what level I'm at. I'm not going to put that up here, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this. So a little bit longer video and kind of showcase what bag I'm throwing and why I'm throwing those particular discs. So most of the stuff, the discs have stayed the same with the muskets and the recoil, but that swapping the river out for that glide, I keep saying glide, for the wind skip recoil has just made a huge difference. And thanks for coming, and I am in the process of working on a walkthrough for Lost Island, so keep your eyes open for that one. I hope to get that out soon to get you guys some 3 stars on that. Have a good one, and I will be back soon.